The Honda British Talent Cup, the second race of the weekend in beautiful sunshine at Donington Park in Leicestershire. And Eddie O'Shea, already championship leader, made a brilliant start on bike number 8 ahead of Harvey Claridge, number 16, and number 71, Charlie Farrer. And the front group had a proper set to, with Evan Belford getting well and truly involved on bike number 52. And then Claridge seriously dented his championship chances and couldn't believe it as he crashed out, leaving the other title contenders. Farrer making a move on little Casey O'Gorman. Right behind them, Frank O'Bourne and number 8, Eddie O'Shea. O'Shea goes for the lead, dives inside, a familiar move as he takes that early apex into Goddard's on the WAM Honda. Well, then Evan Belford, who's never really featured at the front until now, having a storming ride, he gets to the front, but it's Charlie Farrer who pulls off a magnificent round the outside manoeuvre into Goddard on the final lap. Absolute elation then on the pit wall as Charlie Farrer takes an essential victory to stay right in title contention. And in contrastingly gloomy conditions here at Brands Hatch, around this virtually 2.5 mile classic undulating circuit in the Kentish countryside, we have Eddie O'Shea. Currently, look at this, the beautiful shot there of the drooping leaves of autumn. And the one thing about the place at the moment is it's very still. There's absolutely no wind. The air temperature, though, is cool. You can see that there is a tickling breeze up there, but it's... in fact, I thought there was a bit of a chill breeze when I was outside before coming in for commentary. But anyway, we're told that there's no wind at all. We'll reserve judgment on that. Look at this, her best qualifying yet of the season. Annabelle Thomas, her Royal Ladyship is there in 6th place. 6th on the grid, so on the second row of the grid here at Brands Hatch for Annabelle. Alongside her is a young man who's fallen off an awful lot, but has been quick when he's been on the bike, and this is Jamie Lyons. Currently just a distant 14th in the championship, but that belies his speed on the Enniskillen Motorcycles bike. And this is the championship leader, Eddie O'Shea, currently leading that championship, but only by a slightly fragile 4 points over Donington winner Charlie Farrer. Here is Charlie Farrer, the young man from County Durham in the northeast of England, 18 years old now. This is his final go at the championship title. Alongside him, his fellow County Durham boy, Frank O'Bourne, currently 3rd in the championship, 116 points, so he's 15 points adrift of Eddie O'Shea. But of course we've got 2 races this weekend, so it's all up for grabs. Claridge, well, he still possibly has a chance at the championship, but it's a distant one after that fall at Donington Park. That really did make a huge difference. He's just on 102 points, so 29 points behind Eddie O'Shea, the current leader. So a lot pivots on this race. This race will really set the championship up for tomorrow's contest. There's Casey O'Gorman. He's still very much in the championship mix. He had a huge crash at Hawthorns yesterday, this little 13-year-old. But he seems to be in good nick. Alongside him, Jonathan Garness, the 12-year-old newcomer, has his best qualifying of the season. And alongside him is the little Irishman, Rossi Dobson. So off on the warm-up lap then, let's see what these guys have got in store. Certainly the top 3, O'Shea, Farrer, Bourne, very much in the championship mix. And then Casey O'Gorman and Harvey Claridge is kind of outside potential champions. And then a distant 6th place for Evan Belford, but we saw how fast he was at Donington Park. Championship standings look like this. Eddie O'Shea tops the pile at the moment on 131 points. 2nd place, that was such a vital victory for Charlie Farrer, that round the outside manoeuvre at Donington Park. So that hauled him to within 4 points of Eddie O'Shea. Frank O'Bourne on his 3rd on 116. Casey O'Gorman on 104 is 4th. Harvey Claridge 102 in 5th place. And Evan Belford on 67 points holds 6th ahead of Corey Tinker, Elliot Dufton, Ryan Hitchcock and James Cook. Outside that top 10, Harrison Crosby, Ollie Walker, Bailey Stewart Campbell in 13th place ahead of Jamie Lyons there in 14th, and Jonathan Garness, newcomer to the series. And that kid who's qualified very well on the 3rd row of the grid is 15th overall. So Harvey Claridge then, look at the beautiful autumnal trees beginning to develop in the Garden of England, the county of Kent. Harvey Claridge on pole, Franco Bourne and Charlie Farrer alongside him. These are the kind of heavyweights of the championship, these three. All the others are flyweights. Eddie O'Shea, Jamie Lyons, Annabelle Thomas. I'm talking about size, kind of physical presence, if you like. Casey O'Gorman and Jonathan Garness, the tiniest of them all, 7th and 8th ahead of Rossie Dobson. And then Mason Cade Johnson, Harrison Crosby and Corey Tinker are on the 4th row. Neil, if you, a man of your vast experience, if you were having a word in the ear of one or two of these lads before this race, what advice would you be offering them?
Well, yeah, obviously good start's important, but yeah, just get your head down. It's a fantastic track, a real rider's track here. Start's so important. Paddock Hill Bend and Druids turns into a bit of a bottleneck, so just depending where you are on the grid, you really have to just time it right. If you're on the left-hand side of the grid, get yourself to the inside, or at least in the middle of the track as you head into Paddock Hill Bend, because there's always a risk of running really wide round there. So the first lap, and in fact the first few corners are all important and can really dictate a result sometimes.
So this is, watch for the what manoeuvres these lads do pull then on the run down to Paddock Hill. As the lights go out. Oh, good start for the man in the middle, Franco Bourne. He scorched off the line. A brilliant look at O'Gorman doing exactly what you said, exaggeratedly almost, and swooping through from the 3rd row of the grid. Brilliant start for the tiny Casey O'Gorman. He motors through into 2nd place. And, well, he certainly took you at your word there. Now, Harvey Claridge runs really wide. Harvey Claridge then into Druid, gets himself wide but hangs on to that 2nd place. Charlie Farrer, from a rather sluggish start, is back in 4th. 6th place, 2 places behind him for Eddie O'Shea, the championship leader.
Yeah, for Casey O'Gorman, 7th on the grid there, that was just perfect. He launched himself off there, got a nice slingshot, got into 2nd briefly, but he's in that all-important battle at the front. He'll get a nice slipstream as a head down. Pilgrim's dropped here, but it's so important to be away at the front. He's a championship contender. Difficult for him to win the championship, but he can still, all he has to do is just try and win both of these races, but he's in a great position on this first lap.
Obviously Harvey Claridge has got that in his head as well, that if I win these 2 races, you never know what might happen to other people behind me. So Claridge then storms to the front ahead of Franco Bourne. O'Gorman in 3rd, Farrer 4th, Eddie O'Shea is in 6th behind Rossie Dobson.
Yeah, 50 points available, 25 today and 25 tomorrow, and that championship battle will narrow down, I suspect, after this race. There is 5 of them at the moment that can mathematically still win the championship. So certainly for the guys, O'Gorman, Claridge, 4th and 5th in the championship, their job's simple: get their head down and win.
At the moment, it's Harvey Claridge is the man who's doing that. Franco Bourne right behind him, just hovering on the outside, swoops to the inside to try and outbreak him, but Claridge with that faster sweep through Paddock Hill.
And ironically, Farrer and O'Shea, who are the 2 main contenders at this point, 131 versus 127, O'Shea and Farrer points-wise, so only 4 points between them. They're battling in 4th and 5th, so they've got the championship battle going on. Meanwhile, these 3 guys at the front just hoping maybe something happens to the championship leaders. They have, they don't score so many points, and they have still a shout at winning this one.
The first lap was already about 3 seconds up on the damp conditions and the times inflicted on these lads this morning, which were up in the high 48s and 49s.
Yeah, we had a wet qualifying, everyone on full wet tyres. The track wasn't drying out, but it was becoming less and less standing water as that session went on, and yeah, we had quite a mixed up grid in some respects, but incredibly Harvey Claridge, he was standing in the pit lane with a broken bike covered in mud in the closing laps of qualifying, and he still managed to qualify on pole, so he certainly got a good feeling early on and got some good laps in to put him on that pole position. And of course, Annabelle Thomas, that brilliant 6th position on the grid, proving that the rain is a great leveller, and she was showing her amazing wet weather skills this morning in that qualifying session for the Honda British Talent Cup.
Eddie O'Shea is under threat here. And look at this, number 37, Ipswich's Corey Tinker on the Stout Fluid Power Academy that beautiful, distinctive, or very appropriate, he comes from, well, hardly, he comes from Ipswich and he's in Norwich colours virtually, and he comes round the outside of Eddie O'Shea, tries to line him up. Is he on the right side? Can he get right round? Not quite.
Well, he's at the stonking ride. He made a decent start there, but 12th on the grid. So 4th row of the grid for, a rider that's normally in the top 6. Great little rider. He's come on leaps and bounds this year, number 37 there. And, really menacing the championship leader at the moment. So Eddie O'Shea really has to get his head down. He can't afford to be swallowed into the 6th, 7th, 8th positions in this race, or he's going to lose out big time to Charlie Farrar.
And that would look what would happen to the championship right now with Bourne back in the lead. That would put him on 141 level with O'Shea, and 1 point ahead of Charlie Farrar should positions stay where they are. So Eddie O'Shea, certainly, if he's going to get sucked back into the pack, as we see Charlie Farrar now try and make a move on Casey O'Gorman. O'Gorman, he sits the little fella up. So the 18-year-old snatches 3rd place from the clutches of the just turned 13-year-old as they go stonking round. Has dived down through Dingledell up towards Sheen Curve, and I was thinking that it was time that Charlie got his wings on a bit. He's done 139.91. That's the first lap in the race underneath 1:40. So they're really beginning to start cooking now.
Yeah, last time out on track, of course, was for that qualifying session. It's very wet. You can see there's still some wet patches out there, but the first time to get a look at that track is on the cycling lap. So they have to be very observant, just check out that there's no damp patches and crucial braking areas, and certainly look out for the white lines as well, because sometimes there's little pockets of rain that might be held in the white lines, and these white lines can stay more slippy than the tarmac.
And it didn't take long for O'Gorman to just cut his way back there into 3rd place again. That lad, Franco Bourne, sets a lap record, 138.475. And I was going to say the flyweight of O'Gorman then really worked coming out of Clark Curve. He pedalled on past the heavier Charlie Farrar, didn't he? And
very much our championship favourite earlier in the season. He just, at one point, every race he finished, he won. He fell off a couple of times, but he certainly looked like the main man in this championship. And I must admit, even coming here, I thought when push comes to shove, he will get himself to the front. But yeah, there's no way that he's wanting these guys to be a couple of seconds up the road at this point, so he really has to get his head down, or that championship's just going to slip away.
And look at that, look at this, the slipstreaming effect there, but he's on the wrong side, Corey Tinker. Surely as they go into Hawthorne, he's got to yield to the inside line there for Eddie O'Shea, but he cuts back and tries to nudge you. Oh, brilliantly done, and he does that absolutely cleanly along the Minter Straight, drops into Westfield, and he's moved up into 5th place. So Eddie O'Shea is having to really work hard for some points here, because that will just nudge him off the top of the championship table with 1 race remaining.
It certainly will, yes. Certainly with Charlie Farrar where he is at the moment, he really has to grab every point he can.
Franco Bourne, very impressively now, having set the fastest lap of the race, has opened up 1.2 seconds over the 2nd place man. I don't think I've ever seen anybody sharpen up Hawthorne's as well as that to grab the inside line.
Well, that was, Eddie O'Shea, I think maybe just got in there a little bit hot, ran a little bit wide on the exit, and of course lost the lead drive, but he fights back, and it looks like this one's going all the way at the flag. Long races for these, for the kids here, 14 laps, long race around this Brands Hatch GP circuit. Corey Tinker loving this, you can see he just loves the race, loving getting stuck in. Championship's not really in his grasp at all, not at all, so he's just trying to finish off the season on a high with a couple of strong results, and if he can beat the championship leader to the line, then that's a major result on this Saturday here at Brands.
And another lap record for Franco Bourne, 138.4, increases his advantage to 2 seconds. So that north versus south battle at the front, going very much the way of the north of England, with Crooktown, County Durham's Franco Bourne 2 seconds ahead now of Stenning, West Sussex's Harvey Claridge.
It just seems to be coming so easy for Franco. Great team there, they've got that bike working well. His last lap, as you said, 138.4. The next fastest lap was 139.2, so just
these two are soaring
away. It's just coming easy. He's got a brilliant rhythm, can't do nothing wrong. He's not using anyone from slipstream. He's just at one with his bike on the track.
These two are having a really good seesaw, and that's the first
Lucas Hill.
Lucas Hill from Driffield on the Ashcourt Racing Honda, and all in one piece.
So he must be a teammate or a team compadre of Lee Johnson on the Ashcourt machine.
Annabelle Thomas, incidentally, running in 13th place at the moment, obviously without the benefit of that lovely damp track that helped her to that 6th place in qualifying. Once again, we watch. Oh, and look who's threatening now. I wonder where he appeared.
He always appears.
Yeah, Evan Belford, who suddenly sprung to the front at Donington and was a real threat all the way through. You could see how elated he was when he crossed the line there.
Yeah, and from past races, we've seen him just appear within the frame. Yeah. He doesn't really hang around. He'll, if he repeats his form from previous races, he's just going to charge through and then take off at the front, because he doesn't really hang about. He doesn't seem to make the best of starts in qualifying, but certainly once he gets in his rhythm there, number 52, then he definitely is the man. And so, Eddie O'Shea seems to have lost out now to Corey Tinker. He's lost that gap, not even close enough really for a slipstream.
Eddie O'Shea's last lap was a 140, sorry, his last lap was a 141.4 against a 140.6 for Belford on that red number 52. So it could be that he's going to come under threat now from the city lifting by Ryan Saxelby racing bike. There's Annabelle Thomas, number 66, getting stuck in with the boys. Sorry, in the politest possible sense, and racing at the moment with number 75, Jonathan Garness, the young lad from Ilfracombe in Devon.
Still a great ride, Yeah. Packed, full grid here for these guys, and Annabelle Thomas in a point-scoring position. Just fantastic. But Franco Bourne, he just keeps setting new lap records every lap. A new lap record.
Yeah, and again
37.6 on that last lap.
Wow, that is quick.
Second place man, 139.5. So nearly 2 seconds a lap faster than second place man Harvey Clary.
Oh, look at this. I didn't expect Evan Belford to arrive so quickly, but as number 8 Eddie O'Shea manages to get past Corey Tinker, or retake Corey Tinker, he finds that Evan Belford has sneaked through. So, but Belford runs wide. Here comes O'Shea up the inside. Belford covers his line. Oh, he's late on the brakes and hard on the brakes.
Skating in there over the bumps, but yeah, Ryan Saxelby's got that bike working perfectly well, yeah, and as I hasten to, add or predict that I thought he would come through and just charge away at the front, just looking at his last lap time, 140.6. It wasn't the fastest lap time for him, but he's certainly got some pace.
So Evan Belford now, Corey Tinker sneaks through then at Surtees and tries to get that slipstream effect, this time from Evan Belford as they go charging. They absolutely frighteningly fast downhill into Pilgrim's Drop, and then climb Hawthorne Hill into that big sweeping right-hander. Will he try and pull that sharp one again? He does, to see if he can get through to Westfield. Does that surprise Belford? Not quite. Belford's got the fast wide line.
He's committed, yeah. It's quite easy to get up the inside there, but of course it makes the corner quite tighter if you're on the inside line, so the guy on the outside really always going to have the line. You see just in the background number 7 Jamie Lyons as well, the Irishman. He's there, number 7, just hovering in the background, just desperately trying to get onto the back of these three, just hoping he can get a bit of a slipstream, and Belford there taking a loop round.
So look at this, it's all the current championship positions, the live championship is just nip and tuck all the time. So we go from 2 on 141 to 1 on 141 and 2 on 140 if they stayed where they are right now, with Claridge, with Farah not able, it would seem, to do anything about little Casey O'Gorman and having to just work at staying in 4th place.
Well, that really does tighten things up, and it'll give us an amazing finale tomorrow.
Well, you'd have to put the favourites hat on Harvey Claridge, given the lap times he's turning out here, Neil.
Well, he's just been, he's just put a good championship season together and just been doing the business when it counts.
Sorry, I said, I beg your pardon, Franco Bourne. I said Harvey Claridge, number 16, I meant Franco Bourne, number 17. He's just
on rails. Lovely, just lovely late in there, back on the throttle, brilliant corner speed. Nice little short shift there as I headed through Westfield, changing up the gears down through Dingledale up to Sheen Curve. Just absolutely loving it. His lap times have been so consistent and fast.
And for 2 seconds quicker.
The dream.
On that last
it's a dream.
Wow.
It's been a dream Saturday for this man.
So Franco Bourne then, representing Crooktown up there in County Durham. He's 7 seconds clear now. Harvey Claridge in second is 0.7 seconds clear of... Whoa, look at this. Corey Tinker really getting stuck in and not bothering too much about having Eddie O'Shea behind him, just attacking Evan Belfield, number 52. So these are the guys who are running in 5th, 6th and 7th places. Ahead of them, Bourne, Claridge, O'Gorman and Farrer. Bourne crosses the line.
We've got a good battle for second though. Casey O'Gorman's managed to squeeze through to second just ahead of Claridge, so certainly not all over there.
So that means O'Gorman goes clear in the championship. So that I beg your pardon, I'm talking nonsense. I'm getting me boys' names all mixed up, but it doesn't do his championship chances any harm. Harvey Claridge then gets eased back to 3rd place by that tiny figure of Casey O'Gorman, but the gap, as you can see to the front, 8.6 seconds to Franco Bourne. It would take quite a colossal effort to bridge that. I think probably, more likely, we'll see Harvey Claridge try to fight his way back here.
Having a look round the outside there, there's a head through Surtees onto the back straight, down Pilgrim's Drop, not able to close the gap on Casey O'Gorman there. Casey O'Gorman just seemed to find a bit of pace in the closing laps of this race. He set his personal best lap a couple of laps ago, and he set some personal best sectors on this lap. So,
and in fact, his last lap was his quickest, 1:38.8. Which is a substantial improvement, because that puts him within a second of Franco Bourne's quickest lap.
Yeah, and that's smart riding as well. Obviously he'd like to win this, but he's let the track come to him, he's let the bike come to him, get a good feeling for the slightly damp conditions, and just keeping things safe. And that second position, as it keeps that championship hope alive.
Franco Bourne crosses the line. His last lap, he's super consistent, 1:37.9 on that lap, so he's done a 37.6, a 37.8, a 37.9, a 38.7 for O'Gorman, a 38.7 identical time for the man right behind him. I'm talking about Eddie O'Shea is now
back.
He's fighting back. He's got past Corey Tinker, and he's right there with Evan Belford.
Well, he's set his fastest lap of the race, which is a 1:40, way off Bourne's pace, but it's damage limitation time for him, really. He desperately needs to try and finish in front of Belford there, number 52.
So this is a heady scrap going on as they come down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend, and he's got Corey Tinker annoying him by just showing him a front wheel here and there.
Yeah, he's saying, hey, I've got a championship to win here, but it's an absolute end of season free-for-all, isn't it?
That's absolutely.
That's what we'll be looking after his championship for him. Eddie O'Shea just lives down the road from me, actually, in Measham, little village not far from me.
And he didn't get good drive up the hill out of Surtees then, and Tinker got a terrific surge around the outside, but not surge enough. He'll go for that tight inside line again and almost square off Hawthorns on the exit. Oh, he doesn't this time. Yeah, oops, a daisy. He leaves it late, and then he develops it into a swoop. Well, a bit of a block pass, but it worked going into Westfield.
Yeah, that was fair, really.
O'Shea tries to cut back inside. He has managed to make a pass through Dingledell there as they hurtle over the blind brow into Sheen Curve.
Well, this has been by far the most strong out, certainly for the leader of the Honda British Talent Cup races of the season. Just never saw this coming. There've been these five, the five in their left fighting for the championship, have been pretty close all year. And Franco Bourne, so impressed with the pace and the confidence he's got today.
Again, a 1:37.9. His consistency is quite extraordinary.
Yeah, he's in the 37s every lap, and the others are in the 38s, 39s.
So that was a 1:39.0. And Harvey Claridge there back into second place ahead of Casey O'Gorman. So Claridge fighting back on that last lap. Claridge's his lap time was virtually identical to O'Gorman's, but he's managed to break through. It might have been, was it that there was a back marker around the place, number 90, Harry Cook? But as they go down, what's going on? What's going on with O'Gorman? Why is he spreading his legs in the slipstream? Or
riders do that to slow themselves down if they don't really want to slipstream past the guy in front. Quite often you see riders do that, and I don't see why he wouldn't want to pass him unless he's got a clever closing laps plan where he can just nip past and take off. But normally you just, in these kind of championships, you've got to pass or be passed. You've got to pass at every opportunity. But he may well feel like he can go to the last lap and then wait till end to make his move.
We know that being such a tiny little fella, the boy originally from Port Leash and now based in southeast London, has his fly weight does allow him to slipstream almost at will when he really chooses to. like coming round here onto the, he's usually made passes pretty straightforwardly onto the finishing straight. If he thinks he can do it before the line, perhaps he's willing to leave it till the final lap.
Well, he was sticking his wings out again there on the start-finish straight. It just looks like someone getting ready to fly. But yeah, other times in two-stroke days, riders used to do that when they're running the bikes in, just to create a little bit more drag. But yeah, I'm not really sure what his plan is, but I'm sure he's got one.
Callum Beach from Abergele gets lapped there by the battle going on for 5th place. Meanwhile, Casey O'Gorman retakes the advantage from Harvey Claridge.
Well, oh, look at this, Druids. Claridge
big
wide,
overshoot.
well wide. Don't know whether he was trying to be defensive and just got his braking a little bit long there, but yeah, it made it easy for Casey O'Gorman. Casey O'Gorman now, he's body language and his antics on the bike, I suspect he just feels like he's got a lot more pace. He looked round there, which he never normally does. He's maybe just trying to keep Claridge in check and just...
The difference in frontal area between the two boys is amazing, isn't it?
Huge, yeah. And the weight will be balanced on these bikes, although he might be smaller and lighter. There is weight added to the bikes to even things up. So, but you're right there, a dynamic effect certainly makes a difference.
Is it specified where they have to add that weight, or can they choose where to put it?
I would think within the rules, because it's a quite a strict championship, there will be guidelines. You can't put spanners in your boots. Well, you can if you want, but that's not really the idea.
And Franco Bourne, look at him, number 17, very deep in amongst the riders he's lapping now. So 13 seconds clear at the front. That's a superlative ride on the Franco Bourne Racing. It's Steve Patrickson 125 bike. Oh, whoopsie daisies.
Yeah.
He's going to have, big change of plan.
Now you brought that subject up, Jack, I have to quickly tell you that myself and John Moody used to do a bit of kart racing, and weight was a crucial factor. So we did empty half the toolbox into our race suits for a weigh-in on a Saturday morning. So we were overweight, and then empty them all back out. Nice shot there, beautiful shot there, I think, through Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, Evan Belford, and look at this scrap still going on, and you get the impression little Eddie O'Shea seems to be shaking his head at times. I'd have to say, how did I get into this lot?
He has to dig so deep. We're on the penultimate lap now. Eddie O'Shea has to dig so deep, and at least, like I say, a bit of damage limitation. So get that 5th place position.
As again down Pilgrim's Drop, he goes for the inside line, and surely it'll work this time, and it does. Belford then gets nudged back. We're on the second last lap of the Honda British Talent Cup, first race of the weekend. Belford tries to respond straight away. Corey Tinker's right in there behind him. These guys currently 5th, 6th and 7th. 7th never sounds as good as a top 6, so they're all after that 5th place.
I think we'll see a closer race tomorrow, Jack, because they've come from a wet session, a very wet track, so it tends to take a few of them maybe just to get back up to speed. I feel like tomorrow they'll have a much better dry setup on all the bikes. Forecast is quite good, and I suspect we'll see a much closer race at the front.
So Belford's back again into that 5th place, and he's got one final lap to see if he can hang on to it. Eddie O'Shea with that final lap to see if he can make a move through, and he'll be right there. He'll pull through onto the right-hand side of number 52, Belford. Trying to, no, not quite there. Yeah,
Franco Bourne 13.2 seconds in front, just unheard of, just dominated this one.
So Franco Bourne, who was started on 116 points, so I said that he was, that slightly distant in the championship. Oh no! What's happened? That's Harvey Claridge.
Oh, and O'Gorman.
Harvey Claridge is furious. What's happened?
Oh, they're both
Claridge and O'Gorman. Poor little O'Gorman's making himself scarce. He's obviously angered the young man from Stenning down in West Sussex.
Where is this? Heading up to Surtees. Claridge round the outside. Well, I think Casey O'Gorman's just thought he'd push a little bit to maybe. But he definitely opened the throttle and ran a little bit wide, and unfortunately there was contact. Well, that is really throwing things up in the air.
Neil, I must admit, I thought O'Gorman had the line on the inside. He seemed to almost have the space.
He did, but He did, but he looked like he got
winner,
back on the throttle. Yeah.
Franco Bourne. His last lap was a 39.2, almost sluggish by his standards. But he wins it. Look at this, Eddie O'Shea fighting back.
Yeah, it's going to be 30. He's going to be on the podium.
Yeah, Eddie O'Shea could get third place here, and that would make a huge difference, those 16 points. But he's got to... Belford moves across on him. Tinker's right in there as well. We know Eddie O'Shea is really fast on the exit to Clark's.
He can do this.
Tinker gets shut up. Tinker gets on the outside of O'Shea. O'Shea responds. O'Shea has fourth place across the line. Belford in third. Farah's got second. The County Durham boys go 1-2. And that will blow it wide open at the top of the table. Oh, now look at this. How's about this for a race going on? Number 4
that's about for
10th. Sullivan Mounsey leads the way across the line. And as he crosses the line now, that'll be for 8th place, because we lost 2 riders on that final dramatic lap. That was 8th place for Mounsey. But no one got near Franco Bourne. If he reproduces that kind of form tomorrow, then the championship is right in the hands of Scott Leathers and the lad from Crooktown. So your race winner then, Franco Bourne, number 17. Lap record, of course, 1:37.6, way faster than anybody else.
Steve Patrickson's done a good job today with that machine. There is Harvey Claridge.
With all due respect to Harvey, he hung on to that line when perhaps it might have been
he was round the
diplomatic.
outside, which is fine. We'll get a look again. Casey Gorman's kind of in there first. Harvey Claridge knows he can build a bit of corner speed, maybe get round the outside. Casey Gorman does open the throttle. He does trying to... definitely wasn't trying to take him out. He wasn't trying to make contact, but he's just trying to build a bit of corner speed. But unfortunately, when you open the throttle, that runs you a little bit wide. He went wide. Claridge is trying to pull his bike back to get a run onto the back straight. And
I think that was kind of 50-50 in the end, really. But it was very entertaining the way Casey took off, thinking, "Oops, he's a lot bigger than me. I'll get out of here."
Harvey Claridge certainly didn't do anything wrong there, but Casey Gorman, I guess, was doing what racers do. He was not happy.
But it looked to me like he had every right to be on that inside. Admittedly, he'd slightly missed the curve, but he was on that inside line. He had a,
But Claridge was within his peripheral vision, so I guess he knew he was going to, at least worst case, run him wide. He wouldn't, as I said, he wouldn't want to make contact or push him off or cause any problems. But he paid the price as well.
So that means O'Gorman and Claridge remain. They're pretty much out of the hunt. In fact, they are out of the hunt on 104 and 102 points respectively. Franco Bourne is very much in the hunt from 116 points. He'll leap to 141. O'Shea gets 4th place, rather fortuitously. That gets him 13 points. So he'll move up to 144. Charlie Farah, 127, gets a fortuitous 2nd, which leads him to 147, and he becomes the new championship leader. So absolutely blown apart by that last-minute shenanigan. So let's check the results. Franco Bourne wins it for the Franco Bourne Racing SP2125 team, ahead of Charlie Farah, Victoria House Racing Academy, Mortimer Racing. Evan Belford, a brilliant 3rd from way back on the City Lifting by Ryan Saxelby Racing Honda. Eddie O'Shea's WAM Honda in 4th. Corey Tinker, who ran so strongly throughout for Stouff Fluid Power Academy, in 5th. Jamie Lyons stays on board and gets a decent result in 6th, ahead of Rossi Dobson. The 2 Irish boys ahead of Sullivan Mounsey in that freight train across the line, leading James Cook. Bailey Stewart Campbell making his return to racing after being injured at Donington Park on the 151's SC Racing bike. That was the first time we were at Donington Park. And then Elliot Dufton 11th, Harrison Crosby in 12th, ahead of Ollie Walker, Jonathan Garness and Ryan Hitchcock. They are the point scorers, just losing out then. Kate Johnson, Lucas Brown, Annabelle Thomas, Josh Hyatt and Harvey Claridge, of course, with that unfortunate departure. So the championship points take an unexpected turn, and it is still absolutely tight. Charlie Farah 147. Eddie O'Shea is 2nd on 144. Franco Bourne is 3rd on 141. And despite his superior speed, what that means, because of that switch around right at the end, is Charlie Farah doesn't have to win tomorrow. If he were to finish 2nd to Franco Bourne, it would be enough to win the championship. Casey O'Gorman in 4th place ahead of Harvey Claridge. They remain static. Belford moves to 83 points in 6th. Corey Tinker leaps to 7th place ahead of James Cook in 8th. Elliot Dufton and Harrison Crosby. Ryan Hitchcock in 11th for Wilson Racing ahead of Moto Rapido SP125's Ollie Walker. Bailey Stewart Campbell in 13th ahead of Jamie Lyon, still there in 14th place after a good ride, and Sullivan Mounsey in 15th, level with Jonathan Garness.
Franco Bourne, congratulations there. What a race. 25-second, the gap between you and 2nd place. After Donington, the 2 5th places, you said you wanted today to be different, and how different it was.
Yeah, definitely I wanted to be different. We didn't have the best round at Donington, so I definitely needed to do better at this round. I wasn't sure if they were behind me in that race. I was just pushing all the way. It was really hard. I enjoyed it a lot, but unlucky for Harvey. He should have been there, but he'll do well next time.
Why do you think you were so dominant out there today?
I felt confident around this track all weekend, even in the wet conditions and the dry. We've been at the top in most sessions. I just felt really comfortable in the race and managed to get the win.
Yeah, a win indeed. Obviously, you haven't actually got a win since Snet. How important is that for the championship tomorrow? Now only 6 points away from that #1 spot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I dropped off a bit in the last round, but I've come back in this round, which has brought the championship closer together.
Do you think you're still in title fight contention? Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, confidence there from Franco. Good luck for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
So Franco Bourne, that is an exhilarating win for him, but he's nonetheless, with that gap of 6 points back to Charlie Farrar, it does mean that Farrar can win that championship should he finish 2nd behind Franco Bourne. If Franco wakes up feeling as good as that tomorrow and goes as fast as that in tomorrow's race. And incidentally, no action will be taken by race control over the incident that did change the complexion on the final lap of this race and this race result, and how essential that was to the potential outcome of the championship. Neil.
Yeah, a very normal pass in there for Casey O'Gorman. He was up the inside, he had a tighter line. You can see Claridge coming down, just trying to... Yeah, it is borderline. It's just a bit of contact, and the experts in race direction have looked at that, and they normally get it right, and there's no action going to be taken, so it's deemed as a racing incident. Both riders upset about it, one more than the other, but there you go.
So that was the end of that race, but what that did, of course, was elevate Charlie Farrar crucially to 2nd place in the race, behind that dominant race winner. Wow. So that then high drama on the final lap, and that means that Franco Bourne, a well-deserved winner, because that was he just set record lap after record lap during that race. So your winner is Franco Bourne, 2nd place in the British Honda Talent Cup. Goes to the new championship leader for Honda on the left-hand side of the picture there, Charlie Farrar. Absolutely scorching start, and that was it right from the beginning, really. Number 17, Franco Bourne, no nonsense, went to the front. Harvey Claridge followed through and tried to engage with him, and there was for a brief while, there was a north versus south battle between the West Sussex lad, number 16, and number 17, the County Durham boy. Franco Bourne repasses going into Westfield. Just behind them, Casey O'Gorman, the tiny 13-year-old, and he comes up and tries to make his attack on Harvey Claridge, and they get into a right ding-dong. Claridge running well wide at Druid, and then this happens on the final lap. They are coming together at Surtees, pitches them both down, and that means as Franco Bourne goes on his merry way and dominates the race by over 13 seconds, it elevates Charlie Farrar to 2nd, and Eddie O'Shea, the former championship leader now, has to fight hard to get that 4th place as he crosses the line, and that keeps him in contention with this fella.